connected.
Hello everybody, welcome to Woodzman Adventures. Today I've got my buddy Harry's bike here. This is the 2020 Honda CRF250L and my new 2021 CRF300L. And I kind of want to do a comparison video because his bike is pretty much bone stock other than some hand guards and a bag. So he's pretty much stock. He's got a skid plate. And then, but otherwise I want to kind of do some comparisons to show you that it's not actually the same bike. A lot of people, like I said, they think that it's a 250L and they just change the stroke on the motor, but it's actually the frame, the whole geometry, the whole bike is different. And you can see he still has the standard halogen bulb in his and the standard incandescent signals, which is what this comes with. Of course, I changed this to the LEDs. Honda sent me these and the LED headlight. It kind of looks like the Thailand version. Other than that, it's still stock. So if we get to looking at the bikes, you can see on the side panels the difference between the 250L here and the 300L here. This has this black insert instead of being just this has a black insert too, but it's a different shape. And most stuff on this bike is more of a matte finish instead of a gloss, except for the wheels. The wheels on this they are glossy, but not as glossy as the 300L. They have more shine to them. They said they done that to make the wheels easier to clean. And then of course you can see the side here, the little kick guards are a little different. Foot pegs are pretty much the same thing. This frame is a lot different. This frame here actually curves in for a thinner feel of the bike when you're straddling it. And this one here, the frame is pretty much straight up. It's not, it don't dip in like the 300 does. The side panels are different, the exhaust is different. Fender, the seat, you can see this seat here, how it comes like this, curves up real sharp, and then there's a lot of room between here and the gas cap. The 250L has this gradual curve, and then the gas cap is up, it's really close to the gas cap. I did check too that the gas cap from the 250L to the 300L will interchange. They are the same, even though the tank is a little bit different. It's actually a totally different tank. The mirrors are different. Instead of being this teardrop shape, they kind of have the corner knocked off here. A little different look to them. And I believe that they're set a little further out so they clear your shoulders better just by the design of this stem that holds them. Of course, the instrument cluster is one of the big differences. It's a lot different than the 250. We'll show you the 250 here when we turn it on, and you can see the clocks down here in the bottom right, your trip meters right here, and your fuel gauge, the tach, and your neutral indicators up here. Also, your set buttons, your set and select is on each side of the cluster. On the 300, both buttons are on one side, the set and select. The dash is bigger. This is a lot bigger display. I didn't realize it was that much bigger. I mentioned in another video I thought it was close, but it actually, when you get to looking at them, there's quite a bit of difference. And then when you turn it on, your clock is up here. You got your trip meter right here. This here is showing the miles per gallon. And then one cool feature they added for 2021 was they put a gear indicator, which if you're like me and Harry, we not only run out of blinker fluid all the time, in sixth gear I'm always wanting to shift up one more time. So in this, you can actually tell what gear you're in, and that helps.
That's one thing I wished I had.
That's a real big improvement, really. This rack is one that I just put on here from Moto Skill. I may change it later. Just for now, that's what I got. So this rear part here, the tail tidy that comes on this big mud flap, on this one it unbolts. There's 3 bolts on the bottom here, and you can take this off. You can see it's separated, so you can add a aftermarket tail tidy real easy. If you go over here to the 250L, the taillight and all this is integrated, so to add a tail tidy, it's a lot bigger deal. I mean, you have to add one. Usually you get the taillight and all this together because this is all one molded piece. I have seen people cut this off, but it don't look very good when you do it. It won't be near as clean it will look. You can also see the difference in the exhaust. This one here is more round. And the exhaust on the 300, you can see that the exhaust is a different shape, the back end of it. But other than that, I can tell you that a rear rack off a 250L, parts that you cannot use. You can't use a rack off a 250L. The seat don't fit, the plastic don't fit, the tank don't fit. If you have the standard fender, the 250L and the 300 are the same. This one is not, because this is the Thailand version, so it is a different fender and headlight. And to change one, you have to change them both to make it work. It does have the bronze looking fork tubes, which the 250L, the 2020 has it. Now you can see my 250L over here has the gold fork tubes, and it also has the silver wheels instead of the black wheels, like the 2020 250L and the 2021 CRF300L. Another notable thing is you can see the brake master cylinder on the 250L is have a remote reservoir, which is up here, and a hose running down to it. On the CRF300L, the reservoir is built onto the master cylinder, so you don't have that remote up here with the hose. Better, I don't know. I mean, there's never been a problem with the 250L one anyway. So the passenger pegs, you can tell, is pretty much the same. It's the same peg, but it don't have a guard here to keep your heel from hitting the exhaust. And then on the 300L, they added this little metal guard, so the passenger's heel of their shoe will not hit the exhaust. So that's a plus right there. The swing arm is different. This swing arm is a different box tubing. It's a smaller box tubing than on the 250L, and you can tell the difference by the way this is angled here. This one's pretty much just rounded. The subframe on the CRF250L was removable, which was really nice. You can unbolt it here, unbolt it up here. You can remove the subframe if something happens, to work on it or to replace it if you bend it. But on the 300L, they opted to not make a removable subframe, which is a downfall. I wish they would have done that, but how many times have you been a subframe? Another thing is here on the chain adjustment, on the guard here for the 250L, you can see the guard here, and you take a tape measure and measure your chain adjustment. When measuring the chain slack on the 300L, it has this notch, so you take like a 6-inch ruler and you can put it down in this notch to here, and then it's always consistent to measure your chain slack. As far as the tires are the same thing, same RFC tires. The air box on this unit is different, so the air filter for the 250L will not work on the 300. The oil filter will work, and I believe the chain and sprockets, all that's the same. Even though it is different gearing inside the engine, it's still a 1440 setup on the 300, just like the 250L. Okay, so the skid plate on the 250L is different. These bolts here, where it bolts in the front, is in a different location. So you can see he has an Acerbis skid plate, and the bolts are lower to where it bolts on. So the skid plate, other than that, would fit. So just so you know, don't buy a 250L skid plate, because it's not going to work without some modification. You can also see that the radiator on the 300L is on the right side of the bike, and your radiator hose, instead of going across and up to the radiator on the left side, the hose just comes down under the exhaust to the water pump. On the 250L, comes off of the radiator down all the way across in front of the engine, and then down to the water pump. This head pipe, I've noticed too, this head pipe is a larger diameter on the 250, which is kind of strange to have a smaller diameter head pipe on the 300. So I don't know how many miles I've got on my 300 right now. Let's see. I've got, oh my goodness, 10 miles.
It's wore out.
It is wore out. Over here, let's check out this 2020 CRF250L. 1,731 miles. Boy, he ain't even rode this thing. It ain't even broke in. He did have some dirt on here, but he cleaned it off. I had to add that on there, Harry. Pretty sad. I told him I wasn't going to video unless he cleaned that dirt off. Actually, it's one of those things where you get on a bike and you scrape the boot heel, your boot across it, and that's what happens. Of course, the seat on this bike too, I'm sure is the same. I don't know if it's the same compound, but to me, the CRF250L, the stock seat, is absolutely terrible. When you first buy the bike and you ride it, you think, hey, this ain't bad at all. I'm sure Harry thought the same thing. You think, well, it's not bad at all.
Until 50 miles.
Until you ride it a few miles and you get used to it, and you're like, the seat is actually horrible. And then on the 250L over here, mine, I put a Seat Concepts. It's unreal, the difference. You cannot believe the difference until you put one of those on there. So this compound of seat, let me check it with this one. Actually, this one feels a little bit softer compound. I figured it was a little stiffer, but to me it feels softer. It's kind of hard to tell. I will have to get a Seat Concepts put on here. They make the best seat there is, no doubt about it. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, click the thumbs up and subscribe down below. I got lots more videos coming. Me and Harry riding. Hopefully some other guys, if we get some more people with some dual sports around here to ride with. But catch y'all on the next one. Ride on.